2, go.
All right. Are we here? We here? Yes, we are.
Buddy. Cheers.
What's going on, good sir? Hold on a second. We got today Woodford Reserve, probably one of my more favorite bourbons.
What happened to tequila season? Got cut short?
I actually bought a new bottle of tequila. I was going to save it for this weekend, but you fucked us.
Yeah. Me. You. Yeah. So what the captain's referring to is cheers. What the captain is referring to is that I tested positive for the coronavirus.
Yes,
And
and
now
so
I have to be in quarantine.
and we had been good little boys for probably a month and a half, and nobody saw anybody. And then turkey season started on the same day as his birthday over here, so we went hunting for the whole weekend, and here we are now testing for coronavirus.
Back in
So
quarantine.
cheers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cheers to that.
But at least if I'm negative, I know I'm good, and at least in 2 weeks you could test negative.
Yeah.
Because I heard from somebody who had it really bad, like was laid up for like 3 weeks in their house, that like they tested him like a month later, and he's completely clean, good. He came back negative.
Yeah, I think I think eventually it'll just run its course and you'll
Yeah.
be back to normal.
Yeah.
You know?
So we got so last week we talked, the past 2 weeks have been fun weeks for us. We did 420 and we did the pop show. Now we're back to basics because politics are getting out of control.
Yeah, we need to catch up with the current situation
Yeah.
at hand.
So what's today's date? We're actually, so for reference, today is the 7th.
Yeah,
May
Thursday,
7th.
May 7th.
Yeah. And as we like to call it now in quarantine, Friday Junior.
Friday Junior.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's some shit going on out there. We actually got professional this time with shout out Google Docs. I'm sure Google's listening in anyway.
Yeah, they're listening to every single thing that we say, every podcast, documenting it, noting it,
Yep.
Getting ready to use it against us.
We have our own special file in the NSA. I'm completely 100% convinced.
Yeah, so I know you have a lot of shit that you want to vent as usual.
If
I'll
you
let
want me to start, okay.
Go ahead.
My big one. Cheers to a fucking patriot out there, General fucking Flynn. 3-star General Flynn. He just got his case dropped by the Department of Justice. So I don't have all the facts. I don't remember exactly what they nailed him on, but in 2016, when Trump became president, he appointed General Flynn as his national security advisor. And then the Russia collusion, which is now known as a hoax, came out. It's proven that was a hoax. They basically put Flynn on trial, and Trump had to fire him. And he's been on trial for the past 3 years, while that Russia hoax went on. That investigation took 2 years. And even though it was already determined that nothing really happened, he was still on trial. So now a ton of new memos were released.
Yes.
And it basically shows that the FBI, Mueller, Comey, Adam Schiff, the Obama administration framed a 3-star general because Trump won. It was the start of the insurance policy. They never thought Hillary could lose, and this was their first battle. This was the first shot of war right here.
Yeah, this is man, yeah, that's old. Like this Flynn stuff happened at the very beginning of Trump becoming president. But yeah, what I see is I'm reading an article right now, and it says that the Justice Department on Thursday moved to drop its case against National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. So yeah, the case that they had against him has been totally dropped because of these memos, like you said.
Yes. So all these memos have been released and redacted. And it shows a complete abuse of the FISA court system. And also it implicates Adam Schiff repeatedly. Fuck you, pencil neck Schiff. You've been caught repeatedly lying on media. You've been on all different platforms of media. You've been in courtrooms stating that there is mountains of evidence and collusion. And here comes all these memos that were released. No evidence at all. There's actually, I think, Lisa Page and what's his name?
Peter
Strokes. Yeah. They in his own handwriting. So you can't even talk conspiracies here. It's his own fucking handwriting. What was the reason, You were questioning Flynn in this matter, blah, blah, blah. And the bottom line of it was to get him to lie and so we could persecute him. They fucking framed a 3-star general because Hillary Clinton didn't win. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I'm not that well read on this case. But what exactly did they try and frame him for? With? What did they say he'd do? What is the justification of them going after him, or what was their fake justification?
It was the kickoff of the Russia collusion. So what were they saying he did? I think what they were saying, because once again, this is old from 2016, and I haven't really cared about it for a while until now that I saw he was getting exonerated.
Yeah.
Excuse me. From what I believe is they said he was trying to collude with Russia, almost, and I don't have the straight facts on this, almost like a middleman between Trump and Russia. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like a Russian asset working to help Trump get elected. Because this was all about making sure Trump didn't get elected, and the second he got elected, it was all about making sure we got him out of office. So they framed him to make the administration look bad. And
I pulled up an article
here.
Go ahead. I'll to just give some context. It says that the memo revealed that Mueller, the guy who was conducting the Russia investigation,
Bobby Moles.
He was among other things looking into whether Flynn committed a crime or crimes by engaging in conversations with Russian government officials during the period of the Trump transition, meaning the time where Obama was still the president, and it was transitioning over from the Obama administration into the Trump administration. Yes. They were saying that Flynn was having conversations with Russia, probably trying to link the whole thing together, saying that they colluded with Russia to help win the election. So that's basically what they were accusing of Michael Flynn of.
And some other memos that I saw, not memos, some posts, I'll say, from the shit that I read online, where, once again, I'm not going to say I had 1,000,001 sources, so take it as you go, but apparently that there's proof in some of these memos that early on into this investigation, Mueller had no evidence to push this narrative further. That's why they leaked that fake Steele dossier to the media to
give justification.
To stir all this up. But Flynn and Schiff fucking knew back then, 2 months at before Trump's inauguration, so early January, I guess, or maybe March. I don't know if it started after he became president or not. But they knew within 2 months that there was no evidence that this case didn't hold any water. And they still went along with it for 2 years. All those times. So if they knew in those early months, if they knew there was no evidence to hold this case together, every time those people took the stand, that's fucking perjury. Okay?
Yeah, because the whole thing was bullshit.
Treason season. Treason fucking season. I personally feel the Obama administration had something to do with it. I'm not going to say it did because I have no proof. But the FBI and all these guys committed an act of treason. They didn't like who was in the White House.
Didn't Flynn work for the Obama administration too?
Probably.
Some
Probably.
Some way.
I mean,
he was a general, right? So,
yes, he was a 3-star general. Yeah. So this guy's not a fucking nobody.
Look, on this article I brought up too, it says here's a quote that you like. It says, "What is our goal?" One of the notes read, "Truth/admission, or get him to lie, so we can prosecute him or get him fired."
That's what I mentioned earlier.
Like they're just trying to fucking.
That's Peter Stokes. Basically. That's Peter Stokes' own fucking handwriting.
If we can get him to admit to breaking the Logan Act, give facts to the DOJ, have them decide. Another note read. Yeah, they were just trying to trick him into lying about something that's whatever. The whole thing is bullshit, man. Everybody wants to play such fucking partisan politics, man. What the fuck? What is this guy Schiff's deal anyway? Why has he got such a hard on for every time? What does he even do besides fucking look out to get dirt on people? Is that his fucking? That's what he got elected to do? Just be the dirt getter?
He is head intelligence chief or something like that. Chief intelligence agent or something like that. He takes care of all
intelligence agent.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. He's the one giving all this false intelligence information. And on top of it, if just another side note, because I can't stand Schiff, if Schiff wasn't so busy doing a phony fucking impeachment on Trump, he would have had the intel that coronavirus was going to spread throughout China and the rest of the fucking world. Drop
They
the
all
ball
had that,
there.
bro. They all had that.
Not, but
They didn't think it was going to be as bad.
He's one of the top members of the intelligence community, so that's something I feel. I don't understand the full chain of command, but I feel like in the chain of command, that's something he would have got.
I'm not saying he's not to blame. He definitely is, but so was like Nancy Pelosi.
Oh yes.
You know what I mean? So they all are. Nancy Pelosi, when this whole thing was going on, she was saying, "Oh, go to Chinatown. I'm not racist." No one said you were racist, and we're just, we're trying to not die of a fucking virus. And now they're all saying that what they did was racist, and they didn't act soon enough. Meanwhile, when Trump originally did the China travel ban,
and the European,
they were calling him racist for doing it, and now they're saying that he didn't do anything soon enough. You can't have. No, these politicians want to have their cake and eat it too. They want it, but no matter what. They don't even want to use logic. It just has got to go their way, no matter what. Even if it didn't go their way, they gotta make believe like it went their way.
And how, as like a logical person, like I understand there's a lot of sheep out there, but even if you're a hardcore fucking Democrat, like CNN day in and day out, never Trumper. Okay, January, before January 30th, Trump's doing all these bans. And then like March 30th, Nancy Pelosi's like, you didn't do enough soon enough. Yes, he did it a whole month before you decided it was time to do this.
Right. And here's the thing, like, what is she thinking? Doesn't she know that it's 2020? We have you on video saying that. And on those videos, it says the date, the time, and everything. What are you thinking? Like, you think people are not going to notice that shit? These politicians, like a Nancy Pelosi, are so out of touch that they think it's like the old days where you could say something and then a month later, nobody knows what you said a month before.
Right. You got to think. So people like Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden, who have been career politicians, who have made millions outside of their political careers doing God knows what. We know Biden has ties to Ukraine and oil companies in Ukraine. You got to think 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, it was free fucking range to do.
You could get away with a lot more back then because there wasn't as many people paying attention to what's going on or documenting exactly what's going on. There was no internet, no social media. You couldn't read people's tweets from 3 months ago,
And there was no YouTube. There was no. We could dig up 1,000,001 videos. There's a video for every time they speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so until the second Bush administration, the internet and social media and all these search engines were really non-existent. They got away with fucking bloody murder. Murder. And you got to think for the past. That's why I feel so many politicians are A, dirty, or B, never Trumpers, because up until Trump's administration, it's been free range. They did what they needed to do for America, but they did whatever they did for themselves and got away with it.
They enriched themselves on the side. No, and it's not that even that there was no questions asked. There was no medium that allowed you to ask a question or see things that they've said in the past, right there and then. But times have changed, and I think it's for the better in that regard. Like, there's a lot of negatives to like social media and the internet and the way it's like fucking up society, but there's some good too, like that shit. Like it makes things more permanent.
I think if quote unquote the swamp was to be drained, whether it is or not, and I understand new swamp monsters will just take over. I think something like social media, if it's for the people. Or it can definitely be used as a tool by the people. This will give more transparency, or this will make politicians think twice a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Before they try and pull some shit off.
I mean, will it though? Does Nancy Pelosi think twice?
A new generation of politicians, not these old bags.
Maybe. I don't know, man. I feel like it's like that's such a. I feel like that's a cruise ship, and it's headed in a direction, and it's hard to turn that ship. No matter how hard you turn that wheel, that thing ain't gonna budge for a while. That's the way I see it.
But their days are numbered. Even if they're gonna get kicked out of office or something, how much longer can these people even fucking live? Their seats are gonna be replaced soon. The next generation is gonna take over.
Blow away with the wind. Next heavy gust that hits her.
Her teeth are gonna fall out, and her liver is gonna disintegrate any minute.
Speaking of another old hag. What about the? We haven't really covered this at all because we've been so busy with the the nonsense podcast, but we haven't really talked much about what happened with Joe Biden and the Tara Reid allegations.
Go for it.
That
Tara Reid is one of 6 to 8 women who have come forward.
Right. So let me give a little background before we go into this, because this is going to be a big topic. So there's this woman. Her name is Tara Reid. Go. So,
all right.
Do you think that was the establishment? What just happened? Because boy, I literally mentioned Tara Reid's name, and the Skype communication between me and you cut off instantly.
Like I said, Google's listening, so.
Yeah, what I was trying to do was bring up my little notes that I had here too, written to be prepared about it, and I don't know, that kind of cut off Skype for some reason. But let's get back into it. So, like I was trying to say before, Tara Reid is this woman who alleged some sort of allegation.
Not the actress.
Not the Reid, no, not the Reid, that Tara Reid. So basically, she first stepped forward in 2019 as one of several women who accused Joe Biden of touching her inappropriately. But it wasn't until this past March that she alleged Biden sexually assaulted her while she was working for him back in the 90s. She said that literally Joe Biden pushed her up against the wall back then, reached up under her skirt, and penetrated her with his fingers, meaning he rammed his fingers up into her vagina. So people. What's incredible about this, and why I even want to talk about it, is that, listen, nobody, I don't like Trump, you know what I mean, and all this stuff, but when there was allegations against him, holy shit, it was a fucking federal investigation of,
and they didn't like what he said. That's what they were mad about, what he said.
And, with Stormy Daniels and all that, my God, man, they never stopped. And when Brett Kavanaugh was confirmed as a Supreme Court justice, they made him have a fucking congressional hearing about it. But now when the shoe's on the other foot and it's Joe Biden who has a credible fucking accusation against him, there is utter silence, not only from the politicians that led the Me Too shit against Trump and Brett Kavanaugh and whatnot, but also from these people that are on Twitter that are like Me Too policy fucking police. They barely have said anything. They barely condemned it. They're trying to protect Joe Biden for some reason. I said before, some of these people want to have their cake and eat it too. So that's exactly what these people are doing. You cannot believe all women, but then when another woman makes an allegation against somebody that you like, now you don't believe all women. Now you know, it's not credible.
The woman Ford who accused Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Didn't remember the day, the time period, what party she was at. None of her friends could corroborate her story. But Tara Reid has several people who say, yes, this truly happened. She has a time, a place, a location, everything. Not enough. No one gives a shit. Dude, some woman, Lisa Bloom, I believe she's a news anchor. She sent out a tweet saying, Tara Reid, I believe you. I'm with you. I understand you're not searching money. I understand you have people who are saying this story is true. We know Joe Biden is quote unquote handsy. If Trump was quote unquote handsy, they would have impeached him several more times already. Yeah. And the final sentence of it, and I have another one from somebody else here. The final sentence of it was, although I believe you, I still must fight Trump and support Joe Biden. Are you fucking kidding me? These people are sick.
It just shows that this is all just my team against your team, and no matter what, it doesn't matter. Your team's wrong and my team's right, and it's the whole basis of our podcast, dude. That people can't even talk to people that they disagree with anymore. Right. It's just we're so polarized. We're on two separate sides, and it doesn't matter if I do the thing that I'm accusing everybody else of doing. No, it's okay because I did it now, and it's not the same. But if you did it, I could fucking rake you over the coals for it forever.
Joe Biden has been off the campaign trail. Joe Biden's been out of the public eye. He hasn't been talking to anyone.
Oh, he's been hiding. They're trying to hide him. The less the people see of him, the better. The less mistakes.
All they're talking about is his VP. But meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi straight up said, "I will no longer take questions on this matter." Over Joe Biden. The House of you are at the top of the House of Representatives, and one of your colleagues physically sexually assaulted him. Me Too movement believed everyone before this. You'll no longer take questions now? Give me a break. And you know what? And I guarantee you that woman's been getting death threats day in and day. Tara Reid, she has to probably be under some form of protection.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if she released somewhere. I love my life. I'm not suicidal. If anything happens to me, please know it wasn't me. Like, yeah, it's a crazy thing, but people do that all the time now.
Yep. And you want to know just how lockstep, the media is with with this Me Too bullshit and these Democrats that are trying to paint this fucking narrative, everybody. Tara Reid's mom back in 1994 or something like that called up the Larry King live show. And she said at the time that her daughter was, being sexually abused by a prominent politician or whatnot. Obviously, it's Joe Biden. That episode of Larry King's show was on Google Play. It was deleted off of Google Play. So before you used to see, whatever it was, show number 190, then show number not 191, then show number 192. Now it's like 190, 192.
Yeah.
They just deleted the show because they wanted, you know what I mean? Like they're so in lockstep. Trying to fucking protect these people and work together with these people. They literally deleted to try and get rid of the evidence so other people can't figure it out. But then again, like we said before, though, how dumb do people, how do these people think we are? Like we can't, there's the internet, there's proof. People seen it, took pictures of it. Now they posted it on Twitter. That's how I know about it. Those days are over. These fucking corrupt politicians don't understand that yet. Once
Trump starts campaigning, he's going to shit all over Joe Biden. This show is going to get real right wing when Joe Biden's in the fucking public eye again, because he's got no shot. Trump's not going to let this go. He had to deal with it. Kavanaugh had to deal with it. Joe Biden's going to get accused of this. And fucking his son, Hunter Biden, has to pay alimony to some stripper he knocked up out of the public eye. You think if Donald Trump Jr. fucking knocked up some stripper in Arkansas and refused to pay child support, you think the media would let that one slide? Not a chance. No. This guy doesn't even need to go to court.
Yeah. So here's the thing. You said even before, oh, the show's going to get really right wing when Biden is running for president against Trump and whatnot. It's not even that, like, I'm over here bashing Biden and defending Trump lately. It's not even that I'm right wing or something. I'm still pretty left wing on everything. Biden does not even have any policies that represent any of the left-wing things that I believe in. Right. So what, like, he doesn't have any policies. His fucking, you vote for Joe Biden because he's not Trump. That is his platform that he is running on. So, go with the devil instead of the devil you don't know is basically what they're saying. And, they're just billing the devil as this nice old guy who touches little kids.
It's ridiculous. And he's the amount of dirt that they have to have on him it's got to be a mountain high stack of paperwork. Because we had the whole episode about him, all those videos of him touching kids and smelling
and
people.
What the fuck? Yeah.
Dude, he even shook Hillary on when.
When he was like grabbing her and the wouldn't let go and whatnot. He's a very touchy feely dude. He's weird.
And for that to be okay, I would love to see Trump give some. Big-breasted reporter a hug that lasted a little longer, where she kind of had to just like push off of him to end it. Yeah. The media would be chopping his hands off.
Hillary Clinton's not good looking by any stretch of the imagination, and you know what I mean. And imagine if Trump did it to just another random woman.
Yeah,
dude, they would fucking impeach him again, like you said, over it. But when Biden does anything, when any of these establishment Democrat people do anything against the grain, it's glossed over, forgot about. It's swept under the rug. But when a Republican does it, they literally have a congressional hearing. A question I wanted to ask you is, this allegation is out against Joe Biden. What are the Republicans doing? Why haven't the Republicans mobilized a fucking congressional hearing? As partisan as that is, and I don't want more fights over dumb shit. Why haven't the Republicans done anything about it?
They should be setting up an I said this to myself. Why aren't Republicans investigating this? There's a lot of rhinos out there, Republican in name only. There's when I talk about the establishment, and I know I come from a right-wing standpoint, so when I'm talking establishment, it does tend to group in a lot of Democrats. But there are 100% Republican established members. Bush, the whole Bush family, is an establishment member. They're just they're the right wing side of it. And
they remind me of like old money Republicans or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When Republicans were actually the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I completely agree that the Republicans should be doing something, and they're not. Also, I think there's something though that like if you're running for president, you can't be investigated or something like that. I don't fully know. I've seen that pop up a few places on my stupid conspiracy pages and stuff. So I don't really know how much I believe that. But I mean,
maybe there'll be like an impeachment trial
Yeah.
against Joe Biden when he comes up, and
yeah,
maybe, right? Maybe they'll do something if, say, Joe Biden were to win. Then he wins, and basically the same exact thing that happened to Trump happens to him.
if Joe Biden wins, right under the rug. You'll never hear Tara Reid again. They could kill her, and you won't even know.
Maybe not. Maybe not. But maybe that is what's going to happen. They're waiting for him to win, and then they're going to, try to use it against him to get rid of him. And that, would make sense. But now look at it this way. Is that what we're going to do anytime anybody becomes president? You become president, we sweep up on we pull from under the rug some allegation against you, hang on to it, then you become president, and we try and impeach you.
Investigate you,
Right. And and that's all they do, right? Every time someone becomes president, that's what they do. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be Jesus fucking Christ becomes president, the most, holy guy ever that did no wrong. And they do that to him. And then after that, another president comes and do that to him too. And that becomes what the government is doing only. Yeah. They don't fix the infrastructure. They don't worry about protecting the homeland. They don't worry about protecting us from fucking pandemics. They are just obsessed with running for president and getting rid of the president, and running for president and getting rid of the president.
It's only going to happen to the people they don't want to have in office. They didn't want,
which everybody doesn't want the other person to be in office.
Yeah, what but the Republicans are letting fucking this shit slide, which just shows how dirty they are too. You know what I mean? When they didn't want Kavanaugh in the Supreme Court because there would be a Trump guy in the Supreme Court for another 2 decades now. You know what I mean? Like. So something that I heard along the lines of real brief conspiracy crap. So Ruth Ginsburg is probably going to leave. Yeah, and I feel bad for her. She was such, one of the first women to become
a long-serving Supreme Court justice.
Yeah, and she was one of the first women to become a member of the Supreme Court. And now this poor old woman has to remain in office just so Trump can't get another pick.
Yeah.
Whether she dies,
it's almost like they're pressuring her to go, like to suffer through it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Does she want to keep doing it or not? But yeah, there's definitely like some behind the scenes pressure on her not to step down yet.
And then this is going to be really bad, but I don't know his name. The black guy on the Supreme Court. He's a much older gentleman as well.
Yes,
he's up there in age.
His name is on the tip of my tongue. There's who else is it? There's John Roberts, right? There's Sotomayor, right? She's from the Bronx. I can't remember the other guy's name.
I personally can't remember. But so this conspiracy of around the Supreme Court, the goal is to get Biden in office, and then have those two retire, and then they want to put Hillary and Obama in the Supreme Court.
No, where did you read that, dude?
It was one of my stupid conspiracy pages.
That will never fly. That can't happen. There's got to be even a rule that you can't be president and then Supreme Court justice after. But there's no way that would happen.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? That whole process is fucked up, right? Because both sides are playing politics over, right? Like they want someone who embodies their ideals to be in the Supreme Court. In my opinion, right? The Supreme Court is not supposed to be it's not supposed to be people enforcing their ideals on things being determined, right? Every single person who's in the Supreme Court should be non-biased, right? And they look at every situation without having some sort of mentality about that thing. And even if they do, say, that guy who passed away, Scalia, right? Even if he had like right-wing priorities or whatever, he needs to take that and put it aside. You could believe whatever you want, but when it comes to determining a case, I can't use my personal biases to help judge a case. I need to judge a case on its own merits. So, in my opinion, the president, this is serious, right? The president needs to choose someone that's going to do that. The president cannot be choosing a right-wing nut job or a left-wing fucking liberal who's going to pass, kill babies the second before they're going to be born or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. The president needs to put aside politics in that moment and just pick someone who's just straight across the board.
I give it up to the Supreme Court. And the State of the Union address, that's a big one the president does. That was the one where Nancy Pelosi ripped up the papers and shit, like the little baby she is. If you watch, So I always enjoy watching that because, like, Trump could be like, we're going to lower taxes and middle America is going to be prosperous. And you see Republicans and just Democrats are angry. And then he'll say something and Democrats will cheer and Republicans will be quiet. But if you watch closely, all the military personnel that sits up front and the Supreme Court does not clap, does not stand up, does not cheer. The two groups are completely unbiased and stone-faced throughout the entire speech.
Yeah,
it's crazy something to watch. It's pretty crazy to watch.
Yeah, technically they should be. They should be.
Yeah,
the military are just supposed to follow orders. You think about it, right? They're not supposed to have an opinion. I mean, yes, you can have an opinion, but you're not supposed to publicly have any opinion when you're in the service like that. And when you're and being a Supreme Court justice is kind of like you're in the service too, in a different sort of way.
You can't have an opinion.
Yeah, you can't play politics, and
you have to follow the rule.
Yeah, and dude, sadly, like all the justices that are in there now, they play politics. They all there's a few that vote left and a few that vote right, and they very rarely ever cross over, and it's obvious that they are.
Yeah, and what do you know? Kavanaugh, they were so scared he's going to abolish abortion. Abortion's still open in the middle of a goddamn pandemic. I can't get my hair cut, but you could go kill your 6-month-old fetus.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah.
What
Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is deemed essential. I'm pretty sure they're still open right now.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that crazy?
Shouldn't it be essential? Should it not be essential though? What happens if
I agree. So me personally, this is as a right-wing Republican, unpopular opinion. I'm pro-choice. I get it. You know what I mean? I have no power over to tell anyone what they should do, how they should raise their children, or whether they should have children now or later. I don't have that power. So it makes me logically pro-choice. You know what I mean? For years and years that I was sleeping with, random women, I wasn't ready to have a kid. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I couldn't raise a child.
Mm-hmm.
Pro-choice, man. It's just, you know what I mean? It's
sometimes, yeah.
But
this is a slippery slope.
Yeah,
but like
it definitely is.
Sometimes mistakes happen, right? What happens if your condom breaks, right? And you're two young dumb kids, and you're not ready for a kid, and it's gonna make things bad for everybody. But now this whole situation happens, and now you can't go get an abortion, and now you're kind of as shitty as this sounds, you're kind of stuck with the kid.
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of essential that something like that maybe you should have to go to, if a job like that me or you do is essential for something that's stupid? I think something like that should technically be essential.
I agree that it's essential. I disagree that it's sanitary enough to take place during a pandemic.
Okay.
My problem with it being essential is we can't go to the restaurant because a waiter could be sick and touch your plate or put a fork out and then you get sick. I don't see how it's a sanitary enough place to be essential. I understand the action and the job they do is essential. I don't think it's sanitary enough to happen during a pandemic.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That whole essential, not essential thing is weird anyway.
That's a whole nother show. That's not even on our list. I don't even want to go off the tracks on essential.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. It's a great pickup line though. Are you essential? Because I'm not. Unemployment's awesome.
Yeah. Let's get back to Joe Biden a little bit, man. Like it took a while also for, aside from Fox, obviously, because Fox is right wing, and of course they're going to pound a negative story against Joe Biden down everybody's throat. But the other, the other, CNN, MSNBC, whatever, they barely covered this. They just ran a few articles recently, the past couple of days, about the whole Tara Reid.
Because they have to.
And just keep this in mind, like everybody who's listening, wake up. You can see it right there how biased all of the media is. Like I said, Fox picked this thing up immediately and started, ramming it down everybody's throat, while CNN, MSNBC, they ignored it. So you can see it right there how obvious all the media all the media is. It's
all
biased,
fake news.
and they're only trying to push their agenda. They're only trying to show you things that they want to show you. They want to influence everybody to be a certain way so that they can, so that their team wins, so that they could get what they want and they could profit off of it.
Identity politics. That was a topic we've been wanting to do for a while. The media is not your friend. I worked in the media industry. It's a cutthroat fucking industry. It's a revolving door. You only get promoted by literally sucking dick and staying late. You know what I mean? Like
sucking dick and staying lit.
yeah.
That's
But you're right though. Like there's another topic that I wrote down in our little document to show how bullshit the media is. We'll get to it in a little bit. But it's all bias. It's all fake news. One thing that my conspiracy, things have taught me is nothing's by coincidence. Everything's done by design. Whether there's a sign or a certain flag placed in a specific section of the stage when Nancy's talking compared to when Trump is talking,
yes.
Symbolism. There's nothing done by
like
coincidence.
The people that are in the background are strategically placed there.
Yes.
The Democrats will make sure there has to be this many black people and this many white people, this many Asian people, and if we don't, that's no good. We need to appear like diversity.
If you notice, Trump got rid of the UN flag when he talks. Okay, that's like a big symbol. The yellow fringe around the American flag is supposed to be a symbol that America is not free. If Trump ever speaks with the flag and there's no yellow fringe around it, apparently America has been freed somehow. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why it symbolizes that.
Never heard anything like that. But
this is all conspiracy stuff that I've learned. But so nothing's done by coincidence. So with CNN and MSNBC not running these stories, they know exactly what they're doing. They probably have even more fucking information than Fox does. They probably have video proof of Biden
in a vault somewhere.
Yeah, blasting this chick. They had the big story on Epstein 3 years ago.
Yes, and they sat on it.
Yep. The Epstein story would have hurt Hillary Clinton in the polls because Bill Clinton's connected to Epstein.
Right.
So they sat on it.
Yep.
A whole island where they would bring sex slaves to rape. Mm-hmm. It was sat on. They're political tools. And Fox is the only. I don't even watch Fox. I just read them, once a morning just to cover a couple of headlines.
You read the articles, yeah.
Yeah. Even them, they're a political biased weapon. They're all owned. I think 6 corporations own 90% of the media. Yeah. Six CEOs determine what 90%. 6 people determine what 90% gets put out.
Gets to see, right? You can't think of CNN, Fox, MSNBC, NBC, whatever as news. They are not news. They are literal propaganda machines, right? And people think when people hear the term propaganda, they think of like Nazi Germany, Hitler, Soviet Union, state-run propaganda, right? MSNBC, Fox are basically propaganda. They're very close to state-run propaganda, right? CNN is covering up for politicians. What more is state-run propaganda? We just think because we're American, we're democracy, we're free here, we're the good guys, that we can't have propaganda. We can. It's fucking obvious that is propaganda. The news is this is what the news is supposed to be.
When they think of propaganda, you think of like China and North Korea.
Right.
Where they'll just
people don't think America has propaganda, but we do. And it's right there. You just don't think of it that way because we're conditioned to not think of it that way, right? Think about that. We're literally conditioned to not think of America as possible that we could have propaganda. But fuck, I lost my train of thought now. But like,
good.
What?
That beer is good.
Yeah, we do, man. It's literal fucking propaganda, and
can't be trusted.
No,
that's why I tend to enjoy the conspiracy side more of it because we're also conditioned to think the word conspiracy theory. A conspirator is something bad. Conspiracy theory, conspirators and conspiracy theorists. That was a term coined by the CIA after Kennedy got assassinated. Funny, the CIA came up with an evil word, a boogeyman, to call people who questioned the death of a president.
Right.
Shocking, and it's stuck since then. Just like weed has been marijuana has been demonized. You know what I'm saying? Like
there was an agenda behind it.
Yep. So if you're a conspiracy theorist, you're a bad guy. And funny enough, that was the CIA's doing after a president was assassinated. All a conspiracy theorist does is question everything. There's some stuff that I don't question. There's some stuff that you don't need to question. But I mean, as a conspiracy theorist, in some of the pages that I read, I've even lost a little bit of trust for Trump during this pandemic. Because when the pandemic started, all the conspiracy pages was, this is it. We're going to get the mass arrests. We're going to pull the plug on the swamp. 30 days of darkness. We're gonna drain the swamp, and they can't. The rats can't run, but nothing happened. Fauci is that's it. Dr. Fauci.
Anthony Fauci.
Dr. Fauci is clearly an establishment plant, but Trump brought him onto his team. He either got played or this was someone inserted it. Now it's to the point where what are we doing here? I don't even have trust for anyone anymore. You got to question everyone. You got to question everybody's motives, every story. It's exhausting. That's why
it is exhausting. Yeah.
It's traveling through the rabbit hole. It's ridiculous. But these media platforms can't be trusted because right there, there's undeniable proof that Joe Biden should be stepping down. Obviously, right now it'd be pretty weird. I guess like Sanders could just re-enter the race.
Okay, that's a great point you just made up, right? Because I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, it'd be weird now,"
Why?
We haven't done anything yet. We haven't had the election yet. We haven't had most of the fucking primaries yet. Why can't we just restart? Right?
Yeah.
Not obviously restart the entire thing, but why can't we just from where we were at restart? Right? If you want to bring people back, if you want to bring even all the people who endorse Joe Biden back, bring them back. And let's fucking start over, or let's go from there. And let's see now if people going forward have changed their minds, right? Yeah. Why has there been no effort made to get us ready to vote in the general election? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if there's this pandemic going on, why haven't they made an effort to somehow make it easier for everybody to go vote without having to physically go there and get contaminated by the virus, right? They have made
no one trusts anyone.
No effort whatsoever. And I've heard a lot of arguments. Well, it's too soon. It's in fucking November. Yeah. You mean to tell me the federal government and the state governments cannot do something simple like figuring out how to fucking make everybody vote, not having to go to a specific place in person for November?
I don't trust that they could do it in that time period.
I know you don't trust them, but why? Why can't they do it? It should be able to be done.
Oh, it should be, but I don't think they're smart enough to pull it. It's so corrupt, the wheels stop spinning. It's so corrupt, it comes to a standstill. What I meant by it being weird would be it'd be a huge problem if Trump ran unopposed as the first president ever to run unopposed. Yeah.
Honestly, they should just restart the fucking primary for the Democrats and just bring everybody back who was running, and now let's see what happens.
I said it from the start. The establishment picked a poor choice by putting all their chips on Joe Biden. I understand
what they did too.
Yeah, I understand the establishment's point of view and how they pick a chosen one. Hillary Clinton was the chosen one, but somewhere along the line, the establishment should have been smart enough and big enough to realize, okay, we need to change all our tactics. Yeah, because even now, at this point now, the establishment can't even protect Joe Biden. Because whether you sweep it under the rug, do all you want, CNN can never run it. What's going to happen during the presidential debates? What, is CNN not going to run the presidential debates, or are they going to cut out all of Trump saying that this man?
You know what they're going to do? They're going to
rape the woman.
They're going to frame the questions in a way that hurt Trump and they're going to try and help. Yeah. If obviously not the Fox debates, if the Fox is hosting them, I don't know who's hosting them, but like if CNN is moderating one of the debates, they're going to try and help Biden. They ask questions in a way that leans towards one of the candidate's strengths and goes against the other one. Like they'll probably ask a question like, so President Trump, you had this allegation against you of this and that, Joe Biden, what do you have to say about that? And they'll, you know what I mean? Like they'll set up one candidate to dunk on the other one, and they will never set up the other one to dunk on the other one.
Joe Biden, what is 2 + 2? 6? You're correct, sir. Trump, what's 2 + 2? 4? This guy's an idiot. He can't run the country.
Yeah, and then they'll have a panel at the end, and they'll do a fucking breakdown like it's a Super Bowl. And who won this debate? I think Joe Biden won because he made the best points. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even care about your fucking opinion. Who are you? Some propaganda fucking person on the TV.
Yep.
Which you see that girl, what's her name? Kaylee Ann McKinney or whatever. She used to be on CNN as like one of those talking heads. And now I think she's like working for the Trump administration as like press secretary or something.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, she's a blonde girl.
She took over Sarah Sanders' position.
Something like that. Yeah. Yes. She used to work on CNN. She used to be like the Trump person on CNN.
And they got rid of her real quick.
Yeah. Well, she was there for like, an opposing point of view. Yeah. But when I would watch those panels back in 2016, it was basically her against 9 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They made her out to look ridiculous every time.
I wonder if CNN paid her less.
Oh, good question. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, so something that I wanted to bring up because we're talking about how shitty the media is and how the media can't be trusted. So an interesting topic that was on fire for about a week, last week, the beginning of May, end of April, was Kim Jong-un is dead.
Oh yeah.
You remember this?
Remember, I texted you. I was like,
Yeah.
Chris, I think Kim Jong-un's dead.
Yep,
It's like a Saturday morning.
He was either dead or in a vegetable-like state because of a botched heart surgery. So once again, here's the media lying. So North Korea and Kim Jong-un proved that he's still alive. Do I personally trust this as my conspiracy theory in me? Yes and no. I never believed he was dead because they could just say he's dead and show you a body that kind of looks like him and he could still be alive. I don't believe it. And now that they're saying he's alive, who knows what type of great condition he's in. But so where did this story originate from? How come all the media news outlets ran this story? Boom, no questions asked. Where are your sources? Who are your sources? Where did you get this information that Kim Jong-un had died or is in a vegetable-like state? You, from Instagram to Facebook to CNN, Fox, all of them ran this story, then stopped it dead in its tracks. No apology, no follow-up, nothing. Why did you run this fake story?
Yep.
How did you get this fake story out there?
You know why they did, bro? Because a story like that is going to get a lot of clicks.
Yeah.
Right. And when you get a lot of clicks, you could get a lot of advertisement money. And all the news companies are concerned about is making money. They're not concerned about actually reporting the news or just being unbiased. They just want to make money. And that's it. And I want to tie that back to the old argument we have all the time about capitalism, right? Capitalism has corrupted everything in our society to the point where we can't believe the news because the news is only trying to make money instead of reporting to us the news. That's it. Nowadays, you need to get you know how they call things like clickbait? Yeah. You know what I mean? There's a lot of shit that's clickbait up there. Like they put a fucking Kim Jong-un is dead. And then you click on it, it's like Kim Jong-un has not been seen. You know what I mean? Like he's not actually fucking dead. Yep. It's just you tricked me into clicking on your article. So now you can report to an advertising company. Look, my articles have 3 million clicks. So I need to. If you want to advertise on my website, I have to charge you $5 million per advertisement.
Funny enough, so I've been rewatching some of South Park, and
it's a great show, bro.
Yeah,
great show.
I've
Me too.
been watching whatever season was airing when Trump won in 2016. And they have so much of this shit there about propaganda and how you can't believe anything. And what did you just say about the media with the propaganda?
That they're just, they're propaganda. They're American propaganda. And we just conditioned to not think of it that way.
Right. And so, with the member berries, they were poisoning everybody. They were poisoning everybody in South Park to vote and think a certain way. It was so crazy how it all linked up to this, how true it still stands. They were making fun of it, but I believe it's almost that way.
Yep. You know what's a great South Park episode where they're having the election in the school for the school mascot. And it's a giant douche versus a turd sandwich.
No, that was the presidential debates.
Was it?
So Mr. Garrison became Trump because he was running on the
this
platform.
Is old. This is way older. I'm talking about, bro. Way older. South Park's a long-running show.
I know. They still use a turd sandwich and a giant douche.
Did they?
So, yeah.
But when you look at South Park, is actually a very intelligent show. Like they're just doing a parody of current events and things that are going on, showing you how ridiculous people are and how stupid people are. And I tend to think of this election coming up as you have your choice between a giant douche and a turd sandwich, right? Yeah. And I don't understand. And so was the last one, right? Mm-hmm. The last one was even worse. Why are we always voting for only a giant douche or a turd sandwich? Why can't we be voting for, here's this great person, right, who's super smart and going to do a great job, and here's this other really good person too who's going to do a little bit differently, but they're also great in their own way. Yep. What the fuck? Why we got 350 million people that live here. We can't pick two great people from both sides, and we can't even be civilized about it. On top of that, fuck.
My example for that is Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Okay, I don't care that these people are Democrats. I don't care that the the chair of the House of, the House of Representatives is ran by a Democrat. I don't care. What I do care is that there has to be somebody better than Nancy Pelosi out there that could do that job. Find better leaders.
She doesn't even seem qualified anymore to do it. Like, she seems too old.
No, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a Trump supporter, so I'm biased in that section. And it wasn't a complete giant douche for me. It was like a mediocre douche for me. But
mediocre douche.
Yeah. But when I look at Nancy Pelosi, I don't care what political party sits in that seat. Find better people. There has to be someone better than her out there.
I agree. I don't think it's even, they don't even care about there being better people. They want to go with the devil they know. Nancy Pelosi is like 3 days away from being carried by those fucking African dancing funeral guys. And she's still there. She can't even put together clear sentences. I saw her talking the other day about this whole, about the fucking China thing that we were talking about. And she was saying, well, the record will show that I was not racist when I said, like, she could barely even get out a sentence. Her job is the Speaker of the House, and she can barely speak. What the fuck? Your job is to speak. That is the title of your job, and you could barely do it. Why, like you said,
they gotta find better people.
There's so many super old people in fucking charge, man. We gotta
that's why we need term limits. Term limits.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Here's another thing too, though. There's too many old people in charge, right? But then when we do get a young person like AOC, who I agree is pretty dumb sometimes, everybody wants to shit on her, or you know what I mean, like they want to shit on her and put her down because she's a bartender. So what? I want more. As I said on this podcast many times, I want more normal people in charge, even if they're dumb. I just want normal fucking people in charge, not old hags who haven't done anything besides be a politician. They have no real life experience outside of just being a politician.
Yep, I completely agree. There's got to be better people out there. Ahawk's a poor example. She's from the right cut that you're looking for. She's just not smart enough. Yeah, she's a normal regular. She's one of us.
Theoretically, that's who we want to be. Running for office across the board. But her personally, she said a lot of dumb. She said a lot of smart things too, though. Yes, I agree. She said a lot of dumb shit, but people watch videos and clips of her from Fox News, and of course Fox News is going to spin it in a way that makes her look retarded. Our boy Frankie Carbone that we've had on the podcast before, I've had this conversation with him many a times, and he always points out to me, look how dumb AOC is, she said this. And a couple times I've sat down with him and found a video and showed it to him. I'd be like, watch this video, and he'd be surprised. He'd be like, oh wow,
I'm not saying
a lot of sense. He's like that. He was like stunned, but because you cannot just watch things from one perspective. If you only watch every clip of AOC from Fox News, you're gonna think she's the dumbest person ever. And if you watch every one from, the Young Turks, which is like a very liberal thing, you're gonna think she's the second coming of Christ. You gotta watch in our time, right? You need to be aware that the news is fucked up. So you can't watch anything without.
Well, that's kind of our job now.
But you need to kind of watch everything and then make your own determination. You can't just watch one thing because then your determination is going to be biased. You need to watch everything and just like think about it and put together your view that way.
That's the problem. I'm not going to get into it, but I blame the Obama administration for this. People no longer think for themselves. They just get spoon fed. Here you go. Here's a member berry.
You gotta believe this. You gotta believe that.
Yeah. So and the problem with AOC though, and it's funny because now we're talking about the two different sides of the same coin. Like we need younger, regular people to run for office, like a bartender, like a construction worker, like a shop foreman or something.
A banker, whatever, like a banker. Yeah.
Right. So we need that, but they need to be smart. But America across the board, one thing that everyone will agree on is they're afraid of change. So that's why you stick with Nancy Pelosi, because Nancy Pelosi's been in politics for 40 fucking years. Even though she's fucked us out of every dollar we've ever made, she's a politician. Right. So when you get this bright young little girl in a seat of office, right away going to be demonized. The generation before us that was really shitting on AOC and shitting on like the left and stuff like that, when they get older and we're middle-aged, and we start and because eventually right now we've seen the same politicians in office for 30 years. Flat out, unless there's a fountain of youth, these people 100% are going to die off. We will be alive to see a younger version of Congress take place.
Will we? Will we? What if what if AOC is in there 40
No, I
years from
understand that.
now? You
I
know,
understand
and there's
that,
like,
but I understand that, but she's like the start of like the new generation. You're gonna see the generation above us freak the fuck out with a young Congress. They're not going to be able to handle it. A bunch of new names and young faces, they're not going to be able to handle it. Before the millennials take over Congress, so what's the generation before us? Generation X?
something like that, yeah.
Yeah. When Generation X truly takes over Congress and moves out all these old fucks that are sitting there now, you're going to see the generation, the baby, whoever's after the baby boomers and the early ones of Generation X or Y, whatever the fuck it is, freak out when Congress is all young.
Maybe. I feel like those people will be so old they won't even be able to care anymore.
No, they'll care because they'll be scared the most. Millennials don't give a shit about old people.
Yeah. Here's another weird thing about that is I feel like millennials don't give a shit about anything. Like, you know, like a lot of them supported Bernie, but none of them actually, like, when it came time to vote, like, they didn't get up and go vote for him. You know what I mean? Like, they have millennials are very idealistic, but they don't go and do anything about it. They just they're very entitled. Like, they just expect things to just happen. I like Bernie, and I want to vote for him. And you know, they think it's just going to happen. No, you have to like get up, wake up. Right? Today's election day. I have to now get in my car, drive to a place, go to the thing, vote for the guy, and it ain't going to happen unless you do that. You know what I mean, you can't just sit there and be like, I support him, but I'm going to sit here and play Call of Duty all day.
Yeah. And the funny part is we're millennials complaining about millennials.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think maybe I'm not talking about millennials, all millennials specifically. I'm talking about like the younger generation, which I don't think are millennials anymore. I think there's now a new generation that's not necessarily millennials. Yeah. Yes, the millennials are all now over, 25, I'd say.
The state flag will have 50 jewel pods instead of 50 stars.
Yeah, the hipster generation. Let's call it that. I'm not sure what the official terminology is.
So, want to reach out on here? I got a quick one. And then we'll go to one of your other topics here.
Yeah, I want to hit on one other topic of mine, but go ahead. You go to your next one.
Yeah, a little Frito weakling.
Frito, yeah, Frito.
The Frito chip eating.
I love how you say things the way you would spell them, Cap.
Yep. All right, so here's a word I'm gonna butcher, but hydroxychloroquine, right? The
hydroxychloroquine. Yeah.
Hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah.
Okay. HQC.
Yeah.
So I've been reading articles that it has a 90% success rate. And then you've been reading articles saying that it
kills you.
Right. So one thing that I found out, so this is something I want to get off my chest across the board. Everybody wants to take everything Trump says literally, and he's the president, and they should be. So now this, HQC drug, nobody wants because Trump owns the company. He's got stakes and stocks in it, and he's going to make money. That's why he's pushing it.
I remember that came out at the very beginning.
That's why Fauci isn't interested in it. Okay. Trump said to inject disinfectants to kill coronavirus, and everybody took it literally as taking Lysol and bleach and injecting it in yourself. Okay. Well, Trump said last Sunday on an interview that he doesn't own the company. So I'm taking it literally. He doesn't own the company. He doesn't have any stakes in it. If everybody wants to inject Lysol because he said to inject disinfectants, then he doesn't own this company.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So I see what you're saying. You can't take something literally when it hurts him, but then when he says something that helps him, you cannot take it literally.
Right.
But people do that because people are just partisan and people are just playing one team against another.
Right. So my standpoint, if everybody believes that he really wants us to inject ourselves with bleach, then I really believe he doesn't own this company. That's clear cut for me now.
Mm-hmm. But you sound sarcastic, though. You shouldn't really think that way. You're above that. You know what I mean? Like, that people are dumb.
Well, I'm playing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You're playing devil's advocate. You're playing the sarcastic idiot. Yeah.
So if that's the case, we need to figure out. There needs to be an actual test now whether there's a 90% success rate or a 90% death rate, because there's two stories to the same drug all over the place, and the drug's been around since like the 60s. Let's figure this shit out. Everybody wants a vaccine. Everybody wants a cure. Whether one story says 90% death rate, one story says 90% success rate, let's fucking figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why aren't we, whether you think Trump owns it or not, whether you think it does, even if you believe it's the 90% death rate, fuck it. What do we have to lose? I don't want to sit in this pandemic anymore. I don't want to continue lockdown anymore.
Yeah, let's fucking do something to get out of this
fucking test it. And that's why I believe Fauci's the fucking plan. That I think either Trump played us and picked him, which is why I lost a little bit of trust for him, or if you look at it from the evil establishment standpoint, in a time like this, you would want one of your guys on Trump's team. You want a middleman telling the establishment what's going on, and the establishment can put ideas through him into, you know what I mean? So I personally think Trump got played by picking this guy.
That's what I was going to say. Let me make a point to maybe defend Trump in a way. You know, this is just speculation. Maybe Trump kind of got played, and now he's kind of stuck. He can't fire him, because if he fires him, then everyone's going to say, look, he fired him because he wants this.
Yep.
So now he's kind of like stuck. He's stuck with the guy.
He did it.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
But that's what would happen. That's what would happen. Every time Trump fires someone, and now let's get this straight. Trump is the president. Trump, has an administration. Trump oversees Congress and the House and all. Well, he doesn't see over the three branches. I'm sorry. But he oversees his branch. But if you're the CEO of a company, and now Trump obviously was a CEO, and that's why I felt he was not quote unquote qualified, but that's why I thought it was a good idea to get a CEO businessman in the White House. That's people get fired when they don't do what's expected of them. But every time Trump fires someone, right away, he's just molding the nation into what he wants. No shit, he's the president. That's what the president's always going to do. That's what Obama did. That's what Clinton did. That's what Bush did. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no administration where no one ever got let go or fired. But now this is so publicized, he's stuck with him. He's stuck with a fucking plan.
You're right. That's a great point you made. That every president tries to mold the country into like their vision.
That's why they were chosen as president. That's the power we gave them.
Right. That makes me question like the office in general. Why should we be choosing someone that's trying to mold everything into a certain way? Why can't the president listen to everyone? And like, there's different people. No one agrees on every, but I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Theoretically, we choose we're the president's boss, right? Everyone, not just Republicans are the boss of a Republican president and Democrats are the boss of a Democratic president. Americans are the boss of the president, and the president is supposed to serve all of Americans, not just their base, right? Regardless. So everyone who's been president has kind of been like doing it wrong, in my opinion, right? Theoretically, the president should just be trying to serve everyone's interests. That means listening to everyone and maybe not being a Republican or a Democrat and just being a person, right? And I'm just going to do
Green Party Libertarian president in office then.
I wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like, there shouldn't even be a party. There shouldn't even, I wouldn't even call. If I ran for president, I would just listen to everybody, and I would try and do a little bit of everything that would make everybody happy. Regardless if I personally disagreed with something, I'd have to throw people a bone because the people want this. I don't want it, but you know what? Those are Americans, and that's what they want to do. So I gotta help. I gotta try and do things for them.
Yeah, well, that's probably this is probably what our forefathers planned.
Envision, right? Vision, a person chosen to serve the interests of the people, all of the people, not just one group or one side of half.
Yeah. Once you become president, they should, and they'll never do it because it's a weapon at this point. It's a literal weapon at this point. Once you become president, your political party should just be America or American. You like no more Democrat or Republican. Right. Like you could run as the Democratic Party leader and the Republican Party leader, but when you become elected and chosen, you are now the American Party leader.
We'll get into this definitely in one of the future episodes when we have one of our buddies on and talk about a certain book. But things got perverted over the course of time. Like it went from, like you said, the founding fathers having this idea of a person put in charge that's going to represent everybody's views, regardless of whatever. And over time, the parties, because back in the day, it wasn't like the Republicans and Democrats. It was like the Federalists and the Whigs or something like that. The Republicans and Democrats didn't exist yet. And over time, it just got perverted, and the two parties took control, and just now they have a stranglehold on everything and whatnot. So everything's just fucked up, bro. When it comes to that, our process is fucked up.
I believe that. Yeah, I completely agree that it just got dirtier and dirtier as time went on. I would love to go back in time and see what type of corruption there was during the Washington administration.
There was. There
had to be somewhere. There had to be a cover up somewhere. But yeah,
there was. But nowhere near what it is now,
I think a lot of the corruption and cover-ups came with the birth of the CIA and the FBI and the rest of the alphabet soup.
Yeah. All that stuff is very recent. All those branches are like post World War II, creations.
My conspiracy theory: after World War II, we were put on this path. We were put on this path where we thought we had power, we thought we had, a utopia, and it was just the rich choosing the bare minimum future for us.
Yep. We'll get into that, bro. Don't worry. We got a guest coming up soon, and we'll get into all that stuff.
Yeah. All right. So you wanna get into your other topic over here?
Yeah. Let's talk about Fredo. Our friend Fredo, Chris Cuomo, and I gotta tell you, man, I hate that motherfucking cocksucker. I can't stand that guy. We've been so off the rails lately with the funny shit that we haven't spoken about any of this really. But
that's why we're coming into this with such anger. I am so riled up over General Flynn. Personally, if I don't see motherfuckers hung, I give up on the justice system.
Experience that heads, pikes, walls, right?
Yep, it's treason season.
Yep.
So go on with
Chris Cuomo. He is, an anchor on CNN. He's the governor of New York's little brother, Andrew Cuomo. He was apparently infected by the coronavirus, so he had to go on to the quarantine and all this stuff. And he still kept doing his job. He still kept being an anchor, but he kept doing it from his basement. He was spotted during his quarantine period. He lives out in the Hamptons. Okay. That's another thing in its own, right? He lives out in the Hamptons. Who lives out in the Hamptons? Yep. Rich, elite,
he has a people. Beach house. We're in this together. Yeah, your backyard's the fucking beach, bro.
You really represent the fucking working class, your Democrat ideals.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we're in the same boat. Your boat's a yacht. Mine's a rowboat.
Not only was he's in quarantine, he was spotted out in the Hamptons at a construction site for a new house of his by some random guy during the supposed quarantine he was under. But then that same night, he's on CNN in his basement looking sick. He's under quarantine. He hasn't left. And then, when the 2 weeks were over, they had a segment where he emerges from his basement for the first time in 2 or 3 weeks, and he's giving his boys a pound like this and all this stuff. And I'm like, what? There was the story about that guy was played before he emerged from the basement. Yeah. They literally ignored the fact that there was a news story about him breaking his quarantine. They totally ignored it, and to this day, he still pretends when he's being an anchor. He still pretends like he sat in that basement for 3 weeks. He is literally lying to us, and he's trying to force this view of him and CNN that he did the good thing for for everybody. They're trying to push a narrative on us when they are not actually even doing that thing.
He followed the rules and was cured. So he's trying to show everyone, if you stay home and be a good little boy.
You think he even was really sick?
Maybe
he faked the whole fucking thing.
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. But
to say that the CNN bosses didn't say, look, Chris, this whole coronavirus thing, this is a big opportunity for you. We got to pretend like you're sick, and then we could spin the whole thing. And, before you go on every day, we'll put you in a sauna so you're real sweaty and your face is red. Yep. And we'll get the cosmetics team at your house, and they'll be on standby, and they'll do you up so that you look sick everywhere. Don't shower before you go on. Don't shower for a few days. You know what I mean?
Get a good workout in.
Mess say that they didn't fake the whole fucking thing, and then so maybe the whole thing was faked. You got caught breaking quarantine and then pretending like you weren't.
Regardless,
how am I supposed to believe you now ever again on anything you say? He should not be an anchor anymore. He should be removed from being an anchor. But he's not gonna, because they're just gonna sweep it under the rug because he's part of that wheel that just keeps on turning.
Yep. So this is the perfect foundation for a conspiracy. Now, maybe he did have the corona.
It's a conspiracy, but it's a little dumb conspiracy.
Right, right. Maybe he did have corona, but he could have been asymptomatic for all we know. Maybe he did test positive.
He looked fit. He on the show. He presented himself as physically sick, and he discussed his fucking symptoms at length on every time he was on. And he was still on almost like every day doing his regular fucking scheduled show.
Okay, so right then and there. I've known people, you've known people who've gotten corona. It takes weeks to recover. This guy walked out of his basement to the day he was fine to walk out of it. And regardless, he was seen breaking quarantine.
Before he emerged from his basement.
Right. So now here's your conspiracy. Okay, so you mentioned clickbait earlier. We take a big name. The governor of New York's little brother gets sick. Listens to Big Brother's statewide rules, and
he's
is
so
cured.
Strong as governor during this thing.
And now is cured. There's all your clickbait right there. The governor's little brother. It's in our governor's backyard now. Corona can strike anyone. Fear right there. We how come no one in the House of Representatives has caught corona yet?
Yeah, good point. How come Cuomo hasn't caught it?
Yeah, how come not now I understand there is probably dozens and dozens of precautions taken.
Sure.
But there's 100+ people who work in the White House. The kitchen alone.
Are they testing everybody every day?
I would assume that people are getting, I assume that there's a lot more precautions. Yeah. I assume that there's more, but no one in Trump's administration, no one in the White House staff is coming down with it. No other news. Every time there's a story, we get 9 fucking idiots on CNN and Fox News talking about what we just heard. None of those people came down with it. Only a handful of fucking celebrities got it. Only a handful of athletes got it at the very beginning. No more athletes got the entire NFL. What, 2 football players? 3 basketball players? This is where like the hoax in it comes out. Like, I understand the virus is real, but there's a hoax level to this. So we got the big name.
You know what? I wouldn't say hoax. I'd say there's an embellishment factor to what's going on.
We got the big name. We got the state that it's, running rampant in. There's all your clickbait. But now the problem I have is the news cycle. The news cycle changes so quickly. This is why CNN feels like they could get away with what just happened. Because at the beginning of the year, boom, right away, World War III. Boom, right away, Australia's burning to the ground. Did we ever figure out what happened to Australia? No. No one ever followed up on that. So it's perfectly fine for Chris Cuomo to have emerged from his quarantine and get caught outside of self-isolation, and then a week later be emerging for the first time. Because the news cycle changes so quickly.
It gets
people
buried.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
People forget about it in a goddamn heartbeat. And that's the brainwashing. That's that's the propaganda conditioning of these people.
You know who don't forget about it?
Us.
The two men don't forget about that shit.
Yeah. That's why we're doomed.
We're fucking writing it down.
We're doomed with this power of ours.
Oh, you're right though. Things get buried in the media side, and you know what, bro? That's probably fucking by design. Like, they know what they're doing.
Of course it is.
They're just trying to fucking spin something, make money, spin something, make money.
They give
influence
you
society a certain way.
A new juicy story, and the second their juicy story goes south, they'll give you a new juicy story. You got to understand, like, there's so much power in the media alone. Forget the establishment, but there's so much power between the media, the establishment, and the established members of our government that they could create their own truth. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
they could they could
work together to build truth. Yeah,
they can orchestrate an event where some sick dude ran into a nursing home and started spitting on old people to infect them all, or some crazy story, because they want a juicy news story. They go and stage that. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody gets paid hush money. Everyone keeps their mouth shut, and then they run that story for a week. And then the second someone questions that it's fake, next new juicy story, and you forget about that.
You want
just
to
like
fucking
just like the Las Vegas shooting.
That's
the Las Vegas
exactly,
sniper
bro.
shooting.
You took the words out of my mouth. You want to talk about something, you want to talk about something that I believe could definitely be a conspiracy theory, is the prevalence of all these mass shootings. Not every single one, obviously. It's possible people are copycats and people are dumb, and just like there were serial killers back in the day, mass shooters are kind of like this act now. But you can if you're the establishment, right? What does it take to get someone who's unhinged, right? To get that person, and then you'd say it's the CIA, right? And you brainwash them to go do this. And it's been proven that the CIA has a fucking method of brainwashing people in the past. And you brainwash a person to go to Las Vegas, pick a day where there's a certain thing going on, and just open up fire. You have now created a justification for you to take away other people's weapons that didn't do that, right? So this way you can have no opposition from a general populace.
Yep.
That is what, if you say that is not possible, I'm going to look in the camera right now, you are a fucking idiot. Yep. That is 100% possible, and that has been done before in human history. Hitler, every fucking dictator has done something like that. Hitler scapegoated the Jews, the Jews this, the Jews that. He used things to get the population on his side so that he could take control. If you don't believe that is possible, you're a fucking moron. Yeah. Thank God for the Second Amendment, right? Because that is what still gives us a slim fucking ounce of leverage in this country against being totally taken over by whoever, by interest, like a few people with interests.
Think what this pandemic and this lockdown would be like if we didn't have our Second Amendment.
Yeah. Well, dude, look. Man, I was just, I just remembered fucking Canada just banned all AR-15s. Yeah. Good job, guys. Good job. Now, let's see. Let's keep this in mind. Let's write this down on our podcast notes, right? Next time there's a mass shooting in Canada, I want to revisit that topic and see, did it work? Or maybe there won't be any more mass shootings because they are not planned anymore because they're gonna justify the fact that, look, we passed a law and now there's no more. You know what I mean? But maybe it's because you guys are not orchestrating anymore going forward. Who fucking knows, dude? And all you fucking pussies out there that want to complain that, the Second Amendment, you don't need a nuclear weapon. We don't buy nuclear weapons. You cannot have a nuclear weapon. Right. You cannot buy a fucking F-15. We're talking about guns.
Yeah, it's amazing how uneducated anti-Second Amendment people are on guns. Oh, my God. They're the dumbest extremely people. Uneducated. Yep. There's even, when I bought my first gun in the state of New York, where I live, you can purchase shotguns and rifles. I have to get a permit for a pistol. Fine. I was asked a series of questions online, and my information was ran through, I believe, an FBI database. I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't committed any federal offenses, any crimes like that, never been locked up. So I knew this background check was going to be clean. These fucking questions were retarded, okay? And this is the big gun control state. Like, these questions are idiotic at most. And then they just hand you a weapon and ammo, and you walk out into the parking lot. You could start,
shooting right there.
Yeah, you could start shooting right there. Now, I get it, but there's no difference between if I bought a hunting rifle, a shotgun, or an AR-15. I could start shooting right there. Yeah. You're not protecting nobody. You know what I mean? You're just limiting what I could shoot other people with, and I'm not even trying to shoot anyone with it. Mm-hmm. So and then with the whole pandemic,
the people that do these shootings are usually using illegal weapons. Yeah. Anyway, it's not like they're fucking I'm sure there's a few that did go to a store and buy them legally. Those are probably the ones that are planted, first of all, the ones that bought them legally. But the people who do them, and most of the time they're illegal weapons. If they made AR-15s illegal, passing a law does not magically disappear things from existence. Yeah. All of the AR-15s that are illegal are going to continue to exist, and the gangs and the mass shooters and whatnot are not going. They're not going to be holding it, right? And then a law is passed. Poof! Like Thanos snapped his fingers. That AR-15 is going to disappear. That guy's still going to have it. Maybe 3 months down the road, he's going to go use it again. And then what? Yeah. Maybe somebody in that crowd would have had an AR-15 and it could have stopped the guy. You know what I mean? But now he doesn't because you couldn't have bought one.
every time there is a semi-mass shooting, and I call them semi-mass shootings because a good guy with a gun
stops them. Those
So
are overwritten.
Yep. So I think it was Louisiana, somewhere down south. Dude walked into a church, started firing. This other dude sitting in the back of the church put this fucking dude down, glossed right over. Yep. A school shooting took place, and of course it was some little blue-haired kid, liberal, big, Hillary Clinton supporter, whatever, shot up his school for being bullied. Mm-hmm. Whether that was a false flag or not, the resource officer on site with his pistol took this kid out. Not a single story written about it. Mm-hmm. But the Vegas shooting, I'm pretty sure the CIA fucking orchestrated that.
They could have mind controlled the fucking guy.
They just pinned it on that guy, gave him $500 million and sent him to go live on some goddamn island for the rest of his life.
Right, that's possible too.
I had a friend, a coworker at the time, who was in Vegas for his bachelor party the day of the shooting in the hotel that they shot from. Mm-hmm. There was more than one shooter. There was more than one shooter.
You heard different gunshots going off at the same time, like different.
Yeah. This guy would have had to have a Gatling gun for this many shots to go off. And multiple windows were broken on different floors. So this guy's now teleporting from the 19th floor to the 25th floor to the 13th floor, shooting out this goddamn window. And Vegas, everything is recorded. There's video proof of you taking a shit in stall number 2 at the Burger King. Okay, They had no video of this guy lugging duffel bags.
I think they did. I think they did have. I don't know. I don't know if they made it public, but I do remember seeing something about the fact that he came in and out like 40 something times or whatever with luggage, different pieces of luggage. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that the whole thing couldn't have been staged or set up to happen as a false flag, thing to then justify whatever. Yeah. You know what's a false flag thing that happened, dude, that got like zero press coverage? Do you remember a couple of years ago where there was that protest about the oil pipeline in like North Dakota or whatever? They were building like an oil. It was called like the NADPL. Or something like that.
Didn't they fight like Native Americans or something?
Basically, they were trying to build an oil pipeline over Native American land.
I remember this story.
There was a huge resistance against this pipeline. Like a lot of people came, helped the Native Americans, protested, camped out there, stopped it.
This is a gun-toting state.
Yes. At one point during this event, right, there was a day where there was protests going on, and a guy in the crowd of protesters brandished an AR-15 and started pointing it at the the oil pipeline security guys, right? The people in the protest tackled this guy, took him down or whatever. This got buried in the news, bro. Yeah. Later on, turns out that guy worked for the oil company, right? Yep. They told the guy, go plant yourself in the crowd and brandish your gun like you're going to shoot it, to now take away the justification for these people protesting against our pipeline. So if an oil company can do that, you mean to tell me that the federal fucking government or the CIA can't do that? Something similar to that? That's a false flag event.
Yep. And I also remember a specific line from the few stories that they had. All the protesters knew this guy didn't fit in.
Yes, all of them knew. They were weirded out by him. Yeah.
All of them knew there was something different about him. This is my other thing. All the protests to reopen America and shit during this pandemic, we all have to wear masks. Where's a NAFTA been? A NAFTA hasn't been seen in months.
A what?
A NAFTA?
What is that?
That radical organization that was always protesting.
Antifa? You mean Antifa?
My God, I'm on a roll today. Yeah, Antifa. They're mask-wearing maniacs. This is the perfect time to go out there and protest what you want. You have to wear a mask. They haven't been seen anywhere. They could be running amok.
I haven't heard a word about them.
Shocking, right?
Maybe they're all quarantining.
I don't know. But I actually, funny enough that we were talking about guns. So my last topic that I have here, I think this story is going to be big over the next couple of weeks. I find it very wrong what's going on. Did you hear about the black teenager who got shot in Atlanta?
Yes, I was. Okay. The past 2 days I saw it and then did a little looking into it.
Yeah. So a black team, Ahmaud Arbery. I don't know how to correctly say his name. He was jogging in the street, a black teenager jogging in the streets of Atlanta, which is predominantly, black, was hunted down or chased down by 2 white guys and shot in the street, and apparently they haven't been arrested yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think a father and son shot this poor guy in the street.
There's a video. If anybody want to watch, there is video of this thing happening.
Right. So let me get a drink in before I have to go on this tirade. As a white man, as a Trump supporter, as a Republican, as a gun supporter, a Second Amendment supporter, I do not condone this shit. I want to be the first to say, before CNN starts branding fucking Republican white guys as racist, gun-toting maniacs, we both own guns. We both are gun supporters and Second Amendment supporters. We don't condone this shit. Those guys who did this shit are racist pieces of shit. Okay? Yep. Whether it's black on white.
No matter how you want to fucking chop it up. Yeah.
Yes. Those guys do not represent us. This gives us, the Second Amendment advocates, who we just went on a hunting trip. Everything that we were supposed to do with our guns, we did. You know what I mean? We didn't break any laws. We didn't intend to break any laws. We carried our guns in the right way. We carried and transported our guns out the correct way. You know what I mean? What these guys did was absolutely deplorable.
It was like wild. It was basically like a Wild West lynching.
Yeah, it was something out of GTA.
Yeah, literally.
Out of GTA.
If you watch the video, bro, they're like in a pickup truck. A guy's in the back of a pickup truck, and he shoots this poor kid right in the stomach. Are you fucking crazy? The kid was apparently jogging, and he didn't have a weapon or anything. How is it possible you have the justification, two dudes, to shoot a young kid with shotguns of any color that is not armed? That is not armed in any way. If I was there, if I was like sitting on my lawn or whatever, and I saw this happening, I'd have shot those fucking guys right in the head. Yeah.
I, as a Second Amendment advocate, I do not condone this. These are the type of people who give people like us a bad name, and CNN is the type of network that's going to run wild with that bad name, and it's not.
They're going to try and demonize they're going to try and demonize everybody. And what's a shame is like this poor kid lost his life in the process, and he's going to get like he's a footnote. He's going to get glazed over. You know what I mean?
He's the footnote into what new gun laws Atlanta is going to try and pass.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like
pass the law based on his his name, the hidden law. You know what I mean? I forget his name, but.
Yeah. And all these people in Atlanta who follow the law, follow the rules, treat their guns and their fellow man with respect, because I'm sure in Atlanta it's probably much easier to get a carry permit down there. You know, there's probably dozens of people with carry permits down there that would never, on their wildest fucking day, do anything close to this. Whether it's black on white, white on black, Spanish on, doesn't fucking matter. None of them would do this. Two guys in the state of Atlanta ruined it for fucking everyone, and these news channels are going to run wild with it. It's not right. And I feel bad for this kid's family. I feel bad for this kid's family, because if this story blows up, like you said, this kid's
I hope it does blow up so that they get some sort of fucking like something.
And that's the other thing. Like, I get the racist side of this, like, because I don't condone it. These guys have supposedly, I don't know why, I don't know anything about how this is possible. They haven't been arrested yet.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, listen, I think it has something to do with the pandemic, that the courts are closed or whatever. But what the fuck does that?
I know a lawyer.
So all right, so I'm gonna walk down the street, like I'm gonna walk down Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and the NYPD is gonna let me go?
Yeah, no. What? And I don't want to hear any white privilege bullshit, because I could promise you, if I shot somebody this afternoon, by tomorrow morning, my ass would be in fucking jail.
That makes no sense. Let me give you a story as an example. Back in the day, I knew this guy, friend of mine, where I used to work, and he owned a jewelry store. Some guys came in and robbed him. He had a gun under the counter. The guys turned around. The guys had him at gunpoint, right? They turned around and gave him an opening. He shot back at them, and he hit like 2 out of the 3 guys that were robbing his store, right? He was totally justified because he was under threat from another weapon from these guys. He was arrested, right? But he wasn't arrested in a negative way. He was arrested because he just shot somebody and almost killed them, right?
Yeah, and we need to clear it up now.
It needs to be cleared up, right? I agree with that, right? It needs to be processed. You need to figure out the situation. Why the fuck were these guys not arrested? Multiple people shot one guy that was not armed.
And they have video proof,
even
evidence.
I think they accused this kid of like trying to break in, even if he did try and break in, that does not give you automatic justification for multiple people to open fire on an unarmed person. Yes, you could defend yourself if your life is in jeopardy, but that does not give, if you, there's like a, what is it, like proportionate response to a situation. You cannot like detonate a C4 if somebody steps on your front fucking porch because you suspect that they're going to break into your house.
Oh, he took my Amazon package. I got to shoot a bazooka at him.
That makes no fucking sense. Proportionate response.
It's ridiculous. Like, listen, if he was in your house and had a gun to your daughter's head, blow him away.
Go ahead. Blow him away. Yeah.
But
if someone's knocking on your door, you say, "Can I help you?" You don't answer with a shotgun pointed at someone's face.
I mean, if he kicked over your garden gnome and continued jogging down the street, it's not
you still don't have a justification to blow his head off.
Yeah, no. And I don't understand. Honestly, how these people haven't been arrested, man.
That whole situation is literal racism. They saw a black guy who they thought maybe was trying to break into the house, and they said, "Fuck this guy, let's go get him, Bill." You know what I mean? And they just ran in there and shot
him. And the sad part is, it'll get politicized because here's two. Listen, there's racist black people, racist Asian people. There's racism across the board in any. But now the media has a story, a juicy clickbait story that fits the narrative. Two racist white guys hunt down black man. You know what I mean? And it just gives a bad, you know what I mean? It gives a bad name to everyone for no
People are
reason.
Individuals. You know what I mean? Like, people are responsible. Even if people are brainwashed, you're responsible for you getting brainwashed. You know what I mean?
Go on.
You know what I mean? Like, people are responsible for their own decisions. If you're a racist, you're responsible for that. It's not random Joe from, Texas's fault that some guy, another white guy in Georgia is racist. Mm-hmm. The two guys don't even know each other. They have nothing to do with each other. Maybe white guy Joe from Texas loves black people, has 38 black friends that he hangs out with all the time, and he looks like the guy from Georgia that's racist. You can't just judge everyone as one type of thing. The same thing goes for black people. You can't just, because somebody, maybe a black guy looks ghetto, you can't just judge him as like a criminal or something like that. Just because you look a certain way doesn't mean you are a certain way.
Doesn't mean he doesn't have a master's degree in accounting or something.
Or a PhD in something. Yeah. Just because you like to dress a certain way doesn't mean anything. Everyone's an individual.
But if you're a Democrat and you rape a woman, you get away scot-free.
Yeah, right. That's the only fucking way that works. Yeah. Yep.
There was a funny meme where it was it was Joe Biden, Michelle Obama, and Hillary Clinton, and the word caption from Michelle Obama says, "I believe you, Joe," and then Hillary Clinton's word caption said #me too.
Oh man, I think it's a good place to end it, Cap.
Yeah, man, we're doomed. We're doomed, man.
We just did an hour and a half. That went real quick.
Yeah, that was pretty good. So so I guess now that you have COVID, you'll be off for the next 2 weeks.
I will. I don't have any symptoms or anything right now, so hopefully I'm just asymptomatic. Yeah, we'll talk about it in future episodes. But there was a lot of bullshit behind me even trying to get a test. Yeah, we'll dip into that into the future. Yeah. But
it was very easy for me to get one. So
yeah, we'll be doing a lot more Skype. We'll be busy the next 2 weeks with podcasts. We'll be coming. Yeah. Shout out to this company. This fucking beer was amazing.
Allagash?
Yeah, Allagash. Wow, this was good. This is one of the best beers I've probably ever had. Honestly,
that's their seasonal beer. I've been drinking Allagash White. It's funny enough in a yellow can. It's a Belgium ale, and they're fucking tasty as shit, man. They're really good. So and shout out Woodford Reserve, because you're always there to back me up, pal. Very good stuff. Straight out of Kentucky. Kentucky's a great goddamn state.
Yep. All right, everybody.
All right, man.
Bye.
Adios, all you doomed people. Check us out on our YouTube page, Two Doomed Men. Follow us on Instagram, 2_doomed_men_podcast. And our Facebook page, Two Doomed Men. Give us some likes, give us some comments, and keep on listening. Yep, Skaggs, I'll talk to you soon, man.
Later.